Hey guys, how's it going? Down at the local in the expectation of some awesome sunset colour. Well, the beach is definitely in locals mode at the moment. Can't see any cars parked up near the old shelter at the top there. Got a few surfers in the water. Lady over here flying her drone illegally. It's the restricted airspace is active, but ain't no sheriff. It's up to her to find out about all that stuff. And the beach is otherwise empty. We've got a really nice low tide. Not too many of my friends the gulls around at the minute. There's certainly not much of a swell running. So I think this evening, if the sunset colour turns out to be as promising as I hope it's going to be all about the colour and the reflections in the sand, because we've got plenty of nice wet sand to reflect the sky, get those beautiful symmetrical sunset shots I love. I just realised that it is in fact school holidays at the minute, so I'm surprised it is quiet as it is. Just a couple of people fishing down there. There's about 10 surfers enjoying some poxy little waves. Oh, just took a quick little photograph of one of the gulls here, this chap over here in fact, because with the glassy sand there was this perfect reflection. So I took that with the full intention of transforming it into a nice fine art black and white shot. So I will process that in the Nik collection using the Silver FX module, perhaps with one of the grainier film emulations in that app that look pretty nice I reckon, and I will show you what that looks like right now. Not convinced we're going to get the colour I was hoping for, because there isn't much of a gap on the horizon, if any. Oh, there's a massive flock of birds over at the top. I wonder if they're going to come this way. I've still got the zoom lens on the camera. Get a shot of them. Huge great line. I thought it was smoke at first. We've got this black stuff washed up on the beach here. I forget the name for it. There's a special name. Maybe if you remember, you can put it in the comments, or I'll Google it and put it on the screen. But it's not pollution. It's a natural thing. I just forget the name of it. Anyway, I was just sitting here looking at it, and there's some really nice lines defined in the sand here. And I thought I might put the lens down really low, press the view, and see if we can get some sort of cool abstract shot. So let's give it a go. Get right down here. Let's chimp it. See what the photos look like. Why is it called chimping anyway? Look alright actually. Almost tilt shift like, because I'm shooting with such a big lens at something relatively close, that the focal plane, even at f8, is pretty slim, and there's this band of focused sand through the middle. I think this is another one that would work quite well in the old black and white, actually. I might switch lenses, maybe the 50mm to go, and see what we can do with this sand, because it's really quite nice. If you guys could keep an eye on the sky, warn me when it's lighting up, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you. One of the good things about tonight is there's absolutely no wind at all, so that means stress-free lens changes. Don't have to worry about the wind whipping up the sand, blowing it into the back of the camera before I can get the replacement lens on it. All right, switch to the nifty 50. Have you got a nifty 50? I love these things. And the one for the Fuji one's so diddy. The ones that you get for the Canons, which was what I had previously, I had a 7D Mark II before I bought into the Fuji. They're quite kind of plasticky looking, those 50mm, but these ones are lovely. All metal. There's no in-lens stabilization on the 50, but that doesn't really matter because it's got f2 aperture you can go step down to on that, so you can get things sharp that way. Wow, we've got some beautiful kind of muted pastel tones going at the moment. We've got 3 minutes until sunset, so I don't think we're going to get the colour explosion because, as I suspected, it's just too thick on the horizon with the clouds, which is a shame, but it's still nice being down on the beach, and it's very pleasant today. Sort of 15 degrees I think was the maximum we got to today. Don't know what it is now, but there's no wind, so it's very nice. So here's the shot I'm doing at the moment. I've got the 50mm lens on here. I'm at f11. Got 15th of a second. The in-camera stabilization on the X-T4 is brilliant, so I don't have to worry about it being nice and sharp. And I'm just doing a really nice symmetrical shot with these color bands in the front here, this area, providing a bit of foreground interest, and this kind of circular shape of light around the mountain. It's really very lovely. to sunset. 10 minutes afterwards, normally you get peak colour. Not sure we're going to get anything through this, but equally it could be one of those nights where you think, oh crap, it's fizzed on me. When you're driving home in the car, the bloody sky goes crimson. Sure is looking like a fizzer tonight, but that's okay because I got some really lovely pastel shots and some nice shots earlier on as well, so I ain't stressing. I never stress at all when I'm down on the beach. It's an escape, like it is for most of us, I suppose, when we get out into the landscape, just get away from everyday life for a bit. It's particularly mad at our house at the minute because we're packing up everything. The last 10 years my wife and I have been the carers for my parents, and my dad passed away about 4 months ago. I made a little video about that at the time, and so part of the estate's all being sold off so it can go to myself and my siblings, and that means we've got to move back to our house, which we rented out when we moved in with my parents, and is in Shoalhaven Heads, which is over that way. And we're really looking forward to being back there because it's on the coast, whereas where we currently live is about sort of 12-15 miles inland. So it's going to be great having such great access to the coast once more. And I'll be able to nip out the last minute if required to take some nice photographs. But it is, without a shadow of a doubt, bedlam. Nothing but grey in that sky now. The little pink flashes that I saw over here are fizzled. There was actually a kind of orangey glow far away on the horizon, so I wonder if somebody to the south of here was getting a lovely sunset. But yes, very muted and grey tones, which you can actually kind of make a thing of that. This sort of landscape would lend itself well maybe to a fine art shot. Stick the old ND filter on here, do a very long exposure, so 2 to 4 minutes or something like that. Smooth out the ocean completely, get some nice kind of smearing in the movement of the clouds. I might actually do that. Stick the old super wide on, stick the big stopper on the front. Yeah, why not? Filters, 10 stopper magnetic filter, just put the old screw mount on. The secret with long exposure is of course to focus first and then put the ND on, which is super handy with these magnetic ones. There are risks inherent in shooting in this kind of environment, particularly when you're doing a very long exposure, like the 4-minute one I just kicked off, and that is that the tripod sinks into the sand, so the sand's moving and shifting as the tide of the water comes in and out. So I always push the tripod down into the sand as firmly as I can. That's one of the reasons why I get through tripods quite quickly, but it gives it a much firmer base. I have of course turned off the stabilization on the camera, because as you know, if you use that when the camera's on a tripod, it kind of makes up camera movement. So I've got the big stopper on there, 4-minute exposure, and going to process it to black and white again with Silver FX from the Nick collection, and we'll see how it comes out. It should be rather pleasant, I think. I have picked up a few new subscribers over the last couple of weeks thanks to the Adobe video that I made, which I put the question to the great and the good of YouTube as to whether we should ditch Adobe. Personally speaking, of course, I'm not ditching Adobe, because there is no viable alternative to Lightroom for me, not in terms of the asset management. I could use a different RAW editor if I wanted. I'd quite happily use DxO Photo Lab, and I've been experimenting. My keen Darktable viewing public will know I've been experimenting with Darktable as well, but sweet Jesus, has it got a learning curve, that app, my god. But I'm getting there. I've been watching tons of tutorials. The difference, it seems to me, as far as I can work out, is that it basically works better because it's like a raw. So when you use an app like Lightroom, the app processes the photo and renders it for the screen. And if you use an app like Darktable, you kind of get in before it converts everything to those RGB values. And so apparently you end up with a better color range and a slightly sharper image. As to whether it's worth all the hassle learned in using the app, given the margins of difference, I don't know. I've been experimenting with it and the results have been interesting. I've also been testing a really old app, which is the old Iridiant Developer. A while back, I used to use that to convert all my images before I got DxO Pure Raw. But I've been testing that because it works along the same lines as Darktable. It does all the scene referred processing rather than display referred. Anyway, I might use that on these shots and we'll see how it looks, and I'll do a video, I guess, too, at some point in the future. All right, guys, it's 25 minutes past sunset now. I've just kicked off the last shot of the night, the light rapidly fading, but that's okay. We're doing a very long exposure on there, and I'm sure it'll look lovely. Do give this video a like if you like this content. I don't get out as much lately as I'd like for the aforementioned reasons, but hopefully that'll pick up once I'm ensconced back in my home in the weeks to come. Anyway, do hope you enjoyed this little video down on 7 Mile Beach here in beautiful South Coast Australia, New South Wales. I will see you guys on the next one. Ta-ta! Yep, reckon they're getting a nice sunset inland.